Hey everybody, Jason Spangler, the Santee Swapper. I'm recording this video from my new warehouse in Charlotte. You can kind of see by the patches that are stacked up behind me that this is where I work out of for this Boy Scout patch business that I've got going. So what I want to tell you about these two items I've got here, I've got a small envelope that came from one collection, and then these two big boxes I just picked up today. And what I'd like to do is just do an unboxing video. I know a lot of people like these to see kind of what I came up with. Especially these boxes in this envelope, they came from scouters who were probably, I'm guessing, probably in their 60s. They probably, they didn't have any children to pass them on to. You know, a lot of people who are baby boomers and such, their kids don't really care about all this stuff. You can read all kinds of articles on the internet about baby boomers and all their possessions and the fact that their children just generally don't want them. And so since I've been doing an online newsletter for the scouting memorabilia hobby now for going on 10 years, I sometimes have people that will find me and will reach out to me and say, hey, got this scouting memorabilia stuff, would you like it? And we work out a deal, and they mail it to me, and I just sort of get to have my, Christmas here, opening up some big presents. So I wanted to film this video and kind of show you what I got. I'll start with this one right here. I really have no recollection what's in this small little envelope here. The guy sent me, just a very small personal collection. I just really don't remember what's in here. All right, let's see what we got here. Looks like some very much Webelos type stuff in this bag here. Wow, I really packed it well. He's got bubble wrap all around it. I see Pinewood Derby metal. I see some Webelos colors. Actually still use these, although the pins I think are different. And some other Cub Scout pins there. You can probably tell from that, that's some skill awards. When I was coming through the Scouts in the 1980s, we earned skill awards. And that's how we earned our rank advancement, was through the Skill Award program. Over here, got a couple of other cool items. Neckerchief slide, a Philmont, ceramic Philmont neckerchief slide. And then finally, in this one right here, just some random rank patches, Cub Scout patches. Probably the coolest thing in here is Philmont Arrowhead. So this scouter went to Philmont, probably, I'm guessing, in the 1970s, based on the patches I'm seeing here, and he hiked Philmont and got this arrowhead. It's got a plastic back on it, so that tells me it's not a really old one. So that's just a really small collection, but again, this individual just didn't want the stuff to kind of go to waste, so he decided to send that to me. Now the other collection I can tell you a little bit more about, because that's more recent, and I've had a phone call, actually FaceTimed with the guy, so I know a little bit more about what's in here. So the story here is this is a collector who, again, is up there in age. He was not really so much a collector as he was just a scouter that did a lot of cool stuff. He was in the Air Force, and he moved around quite a bit, and everywhere he went, he got involved in scouting. Now, what we did was, in him trying to show me everything that he had, we actually did FaceTime, which is a video phone call through an iPhone, and he had all the stuff spread out on a big table in his basement, and he sort of held the phone there, and we talked about everything. It's like video chat, right? And then he showed me the uniforms he had hanging up, and it was just really cool. Again, not so much of a collection where he had notebooks and they're all organized, but just a scouter who had done a lot of scouting, wood badge, all kinds of stuff, and he just wanted to pass it on to someone who would appreciate it. And so my cool personal collection with this guy is that I actually may have met him when I was like 4 years old. There's probably a pretty good chance I did. So in 1977, this guy was stationed in the Air Force in South Carolina at Shaw Air Force Base, which is where I grew up. I was born at the Air Force Base, and in 1977, I would have been 4 years old. More importantly, in 1976, my dad got involved in the local troop there, and my brother eventually joined and got his Eagle and such. But in 1976, my dad would have been involved in the troop, and it's likely that this guy would have met my dad. My dad used to take me along on the troop camping trips, and so it's possible that on one of these troop camping trips I would have met this fella. I don't remember him, obviously being 4 years old, and my dad is now passed, so I can't go back and ask him about that, but it's just kind of a cool connection there. This guy actually, in my council, was there just for maybe a year or so, but he did take wood badge in my council, and he went to some Order of the Arrow events at my lodge. So that's kind of cool, a little personal connection I have with him. So I suspect that this box right here is more of like uniforms and stuff like that, and this box is a little bit more of patches. Not really sure which one to open first, but I'll just go for the uniform box since it's here. In the video that he showed me, the FaceTime video, he had a lot of uniforms from all his different stops. I think I probably am guilty of this as well. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll have a uniform for, like, maybe I'm a scoutmaster, or in some cases I was an assistant scoutmaster, or this summer I'm going to be a camp director. And so rather than kind of take my uniforms and strip all the patches and redo it, what I sometimes do will just be start with a fresh new uniform, and then I'll keep those old uniforms as just kind of mementos of my time, whether it be when I was a scoutmaster in North Carolina, or assistant scoutmaster in Dillon, South Carolina, or just, my scouting adventures. So anyways, getting down here, everything's packed very well. I know there's a couple of cool items in here I'll show you. I'll try not to spend much time showing you things like faded green cotton scout pants from the 1960s. Won't spend too much time on that. He did have some books that he wanted to send me, and we kind of went through the books on the video, and I said I was really just more interested in the Order of the Arrow type items, and so he has like OA training manual. I love this book right here, a Norman Rockwell book. And then, no, actually there's some patches in here as well. There's some other OA manuals, OA handbooks. I believe there's some ceremonial pamphlets in here that I thought were pretty cool that I would want to have, so he sent those to me. As I mentioned, this guy spent time in scouting in the military, and so he actually spent some time in Turkey. He told me that in Turkey they didn't get a lot of patches. It just wasn't something that really common there. But there are some patches in here from the Far East Council and some other cool places that he did his scouting. Here's a really cool old Explorer shirt, and so you can see an eagle there. And I believe this is where he grew up. So he grew up in New York, and so the community strip here is Liberty, New York. So that's kind of nice. Love the old green. Another one right here. These collarless ones were real popular when I was on camp staff back in the 80s and 90s. You were really the cool bomb if you had a collarless Explorer shirt that you could wear on camp staff. Let's see what we got here. Some more shirts. Yep, so it looks like he was in Lodge 64 growing up. I know at the 1973 Jamboree, he was on trading post staff. And so somewhere in here there's going to be a trading post staff, I believe neckerchief from 1973. Again, some more collarless shirts from where he grew up. There's a shirt in here that I'm kind of anxious to find, similarly to what I did when he was on Wood Badge in my council, the council I grew up in, which is PD area in South Carolina. He has a uniform that was his like Wood Badge staff uniform. And so actually, here we go. Here's a, oh, now this tells me something. Okay, so here's a uniform from the 70s, and this is Troop 363, and a Scoutmaster patch, and that's PD Area Council where I grew up. So 363 was another one of the troops on the Air Force Base. At that time, we had 342, the troop I grew up in, and 363 was another base troop. So maybe this guy was involved in the other base troop. Still doesn't mean I wouldn't have met him, but just kind of tells me a little bit more of his history and his story. All right, lots of uniform shirts. Like I said, this guy kind of like, did that thing. All right, here's the Wood Badge shirt, and he was an Eagle in Wood Badge, and you can kind of tell that by the Troop 1. That's what the Wood Badge folks always use. Here's a nice Eagle Scout. Now this is pretty cool. I like that a lot. That's a nice Explorer, big size Explorer Eagle Scout shirt. I probably could doctor this up a little bit and even wear that this summer with that dark green. That looks nice. Can I find it? There's a shirt he showed me that I was really keen on seeing in person. It's probably under here. Let's see if I can find it. No, bunch more shirts though. Man, got a whole uniform party going on. You'll find these in a lot of collections. These are like when scouts would do parades and stuff, they would wear these around their ankles. I forget what they're called, but anyways, those are like in every collection from that time period. A couple of cool merit badge sashes. I love merit badge sashes. I collect merit badges, have a pretty good collection of them, and so I love getting merit badges. This appears to be merit badges from the 1950s based on the style that they are, and that definitely looks like somebody that could have been an Eagle Scout based on how many he got. This is kind of a cool piece. He told me about this. He doesn't have anything to back this up, but there's a note stapled to this sash, and it says, "The merit badge sash originally belonged to Mr. John Eisenhower, son of Dwight D., and acquired by Mr. Balachi in Keystone, Florida, December 1972. So I can't tell you for sure if this really was the merit badge sash of the son of a president, but so says the note. So that's pretty cool. I actually have someone in mind that I'm going to send that to as a thank you gift. A couple of cool more merit badges here. What's kind of interesting about this is a couple of these don't fit the time frame. These two, this one right here, that really big ring, is actually from 1936. And these other ones are later than that. So that's kind of interesting that you sometimes find them. Then that's surveying, and it's also a different background material. So that's pre-World War II. So cool sashes. I love merit badge sashes. Never get enough of them. This one's from the this is interesting. You see the transition from the twill background to the solid. So this twill background would have been late 60s, maybe early 70s. And I believe that the solid started in 1972 as solid embroidered merit badges. So that one sort of has that time period. This one's probably 1970s, 1980s, based on what the guy told me about his being active in scouting and such. All right, these are cool. These are just too cool. Explorer bathing suit. I've never seen one before. He had it hanging up in his thing. It's got the Explorer patch there. Sure enough, let's see if it does. It says official swim trunk. So I've never seen this before. An official BSA swim trunk, Explorer green swim trunk. I don't know that will fit me. I don't think it would. But if it would, I would wear it this summer because that is super cool. Love Garrison hats. Garrison hats were really common. This is what people wore back in the 50s and 60s before they went to like a baseball cap. There's different materials here that people use. Here's the Explorer green one with the caw design. And I just love these. A lot of scouts really like these because they're just sort of very retro. This one's super cool. Check that out. I'm not even sure that's an official BSA Garrison cap just because the material is so different. It almost feels like a military cap. But that is a musician patch that's been kind of been cut down. A really old musician patch. That's pretty clever. Gotta love the knee-high socks. Got some other socks here. You can wear those this summer with the, you guessed it, garters. And so if you have those knee-high green socks, then you also wore the garters. Red was for Boy Scout, green was for Explorer. So I'll put those to good use. See what else I see here. Got some sashes. Cotton sashes really haven't changed much in the last 50 years. This is kind of cool. Always love to get a felt sash. So we call this a felt flocked sash. This is probably 1950s or 40s. And that's a Brotherhood, obviously. Next one I can show you is a really cool beaded sash. This one does not have the legend on the back, but this is a beaded vigil sash. That is pretty darn sweet. I think I may have to wear that this summer if it fits me good. Whew. Cool stuff. This is cool stuff. I'm so glad it didn't end up in somebody's, in a landfill or somewhere. I'm so glad that the guy decided to send it to me. I love this kind of stuff. That's an old Explorer. We call that the rocket design. Let's see what this guy is. Oh, I love that. Santee Lodge 116. That's the lodge I grew up in. That is their lodge t-shirt from the 1970s. It appears to be like an extra large. That is pretty cool. I don't know that I could wear this at Camp Barstow. You might get in trouble for wearing another lodge's colors, so to speak, but pretty cool stuff. 1973 Jamboree. I told you the guy was on staff. 1979. This could be, let's see what this guy is. Aha. So he was on a camp in Turkey in 1979, stationed with the Air Force. He was on staff there. So there's a couple of cool t-shirt type items. Still haven't seen this uniform I'm looking for, but maybe it's in here. Maybe this is it. Nope. This was in Florida, so he was in Florida for a while, in Eustaga Lodge. And that is but he was still wearing his council strip he grew up with. So people kind of do that sometimes, right? They don't want to let go of their original colors, so to speak. 73, here's a camp staff t-shirt. Some other t-shirts down here. Love the t-shirts. All right, here's a cool bag of patches, including some patches from my home council. And so let me just kind of grab these out of here because these are the ones I get sort of excited about, I guess. First off, Transatlantic Council Turkey. So I mentioned that. He was in Transatlantic Council. Here's some other patches from Transatlantic. And this is kind of what you see. Like here's this Eustaga flap from Florida. These guys that are in the military, you can sometimes kind of see a pattern here where you can see where they were stationed and you kind of see similar things. So that's interesting. He has got a couple of Eustaga patches in here. From my neck of the woods, I sort of grab the handful of patches here. If I get them all. Alright, I think this is kind of them. So a couple of cool things. As I mentioned earlier, he was stationed at Shaw Air Force Base. And so that's in South Carolina where I grew up. Shaw Air Force Base. Again, he was at my local council and camp in 1977. And sure enough, there's a 1977 Camp Coker patch. That's the camp that I grew up going to as a kid. 1978 Camporee. That's pretty cool. He also went to the Spring Fellowship in 1977. 1978, he was at the Spring Fellowship. We also had a jacket patch during that period of time, and he got that jacket patch. This is his ordeal flap from that period of time. And interestingly enough, this guy was a Vigil Honor member of the Order of the Arrow. And so even though he didn't get his vigil in my home lodge of Santee, during that period of time, we had a 3-flap system. This actually would be a black background Brotherhood flap. I hadn't seen that in any of the pictures that we corresponded back and forth, but here's an ordeal flap. Brotherhood would have been black border, and then this is the Vigil Honor flap from that time period. So again, being a Santee Lodge Vigil, that just really means a lot to me. I think it's very cool to get one and kind of know where it came from. So that's exciting. Oh man, it's going to take me a while to get through this box. Okay, now I'm just going to have to go a little faster because it's going to take me a while, right? So here is some Jamboree stuff. Knights of Dunamis and Nisa. Some more OA patches, including lodge flaps and conclave items. Did I mention he went to the 73 Jamboree? There's 73 Jamboree. There's the Trading Post patch and neckerchief. The Hilton Lodge, Trading Post staff. That year, the Jamboree was actually held in 2 places. There was an eastern location and a western location. Obviously, he was in the east, and so that kind of tips that off as well. More T-shirts. I think these are like commemorative plates. Camp patches from him growing up. OA flaps from that area. Good old Camporee patches, stuff that he would have done and attended. More neckerchiefs. Shift Scout Reservation. He did go to the 71 NOAC. I remember him telling me that. Let's see what this box is down here. Oh yeah, that's right. Got all of the campaign hats. So I'm guessing that his involvement in Wood Badge might have led him to get one of these campaign hats. These are beautiful pieces here, and the fact that it's got the board to keep it stiff is also very cool. So that's neat. I don't know that in the Midlands of South Carolina this summer I can wear that and not just go crazy, but be a little hot. I don't think there's anything else too amazing in here. That's pretty cool. Black Eagle Lodge. You got a nice neckerchief and patch there. So let me kind of set this down. Drop some patches back in here because I got a whole nother box I got to go through, right? Oh, man. Ugh. Okay. Whew. That's a lot of stuff. It'll take me a little while to sort this out. Ugh. Socks. Okay, let's see what's in this box. And there is another uniform shirt that I'm looking for. I mentioned that already, but I saw it in the video and I hadn't seen it yet. But I have faith it's going to be in here. Along with some other goodies, maybe. Okay. More T-shirts, 1973 Jamboree, camp staff, hat, beret. Dun, dun, dun. So the Scouts, if you look at pictures from the 1977 Jamboree, everybody's wearing a beret. Here's probably the hat he wore at the 73 Jamboree. I think that's a staff hat with a pin from the 73. Also, cool little khaki hat there. Got to have the mess kit. Always know somebody can use that. So it looks like here, I've seen several of these. Beach Mountain Scout Camp, Hudson, Delaware Council. He was definitely on staff there at some point. More hats. sort of the bag, the obligatory bag that has like all the jewelry items, like his Scoutmaster Award of Merit type stuff. Looks like some Tide tacks, that kind of stuff. Little container full of neckerchief slides and little belt buckles, I think, and even a comb. That looks good. Let's see what this guy is. This guy's a bag of bolos. This looks kind of fragile. Well, I think this might be like one of those Philmont ceramics. Oh no, okay, this is a little BSA wall hanger. Thought this was really always cool. And then, of course, you got to have your trivet from the 1973 Jamboree. One of the most underappreciated souvenir items from that Jamboree. Really, those ought to be valuable. I just don't know why they haven't gone up in value all these years later. Neckerchiefs here. Got lots and lots of neckerchiefs. Most of these look to be like generic BSA. One cool thing in here, he did tell me that there's a uniform and a matching neckerchief of someone who went to the 1940 World's Fair in New York. And so scouts would have been served on kind of a service corps at that. I know some folks from my home council went to that as well. Looks like some troop neckerchiefs and other things here. Here's that 40s World Fair right there. That's a really cool shirt. Got your cool belt. These are all with different souvenirs and different slides on them. Another belt. Got some really old uniforms. These are old school with the lace-ups. That is very old. These shorts, you can tell by those buttons and the style, that's again very old school stuff. I don't think that would have been his time period. I don't know. Okay, very nice. So shirts, red wool jacket. Very nice. People always want those. And another great patch jacket with a bunch of patches on the back as well. So just some really cool stuff. That's kind of the end of the collection. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing video. I'll try to get this stuff organized, and if you see anything in here that you want to trade for, just shoot me an email, reach out to me on Facebook, and maybe we can make that happen. But again, my name is Jason Spangler. I go by Santee Swapper on eBay. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing video. Thanks a lot.